1, 2, 3, 4. What up, y'all? It's Babylon 5 Podcast, episode 71. Shame. It's your boy Jermaine Event. How are you guys doing? Thank you guys for being here this week, another week. Hopefully you guys been rocking with me all 70 episodes prior. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and each other, going through rough times. Rest in peace to John Huber, a.k.a. Brody Lee, but I would say better known as Luke Harper, formerly in the WWE as a professional wrestler. He just passed away of COVID-19, age 41. We're going through crazy times, you know. So I hope you all are taking care of yourselves and each other. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a social media. I'm giving you guys social medias. If you want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod, where I live tweet and do most of my shit. I've been posting a lot of them. I mean, they're not like full beats. They're just like, at this point, the things that I've posted are just like ideas and me just trying to like learn it. But I've been posting like beats that I've been just different styles and stuff that I've been trying to like just fuck with and just get into a whole vibe of making beats. I think they're starting to sound a lot better. So you could check all that out. Well, either a page I'm posting these beats actually. So at Babylon5Pod and my personal account, which is at my name's Jermaine. You can find all that shit. Check out some stuff, whatnot. If you want to email the podcast, go ahead to Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow this podcast at babylon5.podbean.com, where you can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere podcast stream. If you guys got Xbox, go ahead and add me. Gamer tag is SauceTheBoss414. If you guys want to watch me play with myself, you can add me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Babylon5. Sorry, like tapped the note and started acting crazy. Sorry. If you guys go ahead and check out the merchandise at teespring.com/stores/BOFpod-shop. Go ahead and cop yourself a hoodie or some shit, a face cover, and why not? If you want to support the podcast, get this episode early on Sunday after I record it. I upload it to Patreon, so you go to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod. If you niggas is on TikTok, go ahead and add me at Babylon5Podcast. Because why not, you know? If you niggas is on TikTok. So, just to start here, I'm just going to start with this other personal issue. But, I just wanted to let the world know, or just people in the state of Wisconsin, generally Milwaukee County, it was made aware to me the other day that marijuana had been decriminalized 5 fucking years ago in the state of Wisconsin, like 2015, like state. Like it's not federally, obviously, decriminalized, but from what I saw, I think you can, in Milwaukee County, have up to 25 grams on you legally. I'm like, dude, I didn't know this shit at all. Like, fuck, dude. I don't know. That just all of a sudden changed my whole opinion of, I guess, the state of Wisconsin. I mean, I knew Madison was decriminalized because they have, like, Harvest Fest. People, like, constantly just, like, smoke outside, you know. I've smoked weed in front of the police in Madison, and they just, like, didn't even look my direction. I was like, this is crazy. But, apparently you can do that shit here. I don't think people would be as cool about it, but you can have up to 25 grams. You can get a fine up to like, I think it's at like $50, but that shit's decriminalized otherwise. That's fucking blew my mind to stumble upon this information here. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Just, anywho, I wanted to let you niggas know. But speaking of personal things, man, the other day, I wanted to let you niggas know, But speaking of personal things, man, the other day, with all the irony in the world, like the other day, I was 2 weeks ago, I had the family business episode, and I was talking about how my family, like, people just, it's very common, they don't show up for each other, they don't really try to support people if they're trying to do things, like, they'll just never show up for things, you know. And I was like, it's interesting because I was looking through my notes, actually, just to see if I had talked about DMT, my experience with DMT before, and I stumbled upon the fact that I was explaining this whole thing a year ago about how I'm not really into celebrating holidays. And just like and how like nobody like supports each other. And I explained this the very second episode, and I was like, damn, why do I have to keep going back into this? So with all the irony in the world, my brother Travis posts this bullshit. It feels like harassment at this point. It's like some bullshit ass post that's like an Amber Alert, and they're trying to shame me, right? And it says I haven't seen me, like, at my mom's house since Thanksgiving 2018. Like, they're trying to shame me. And, it's crazy because this family, like, I don't know, a lot of them just have no shame. So, like, they post shit like this. But when I read it, I'm like, damn, this is the same brother that's never shown up to any shows other than right after the music video was in that commercial for State Fair. Then he showed up to that one show, right? Same brother that's never shown up to any show. But this is also the same brother that, you know, we would go to the Bucks games. A lot of people in our family know that we would go to the Bucks game. But what they probably don't know too much about is that, like, as time progressed, Travis he made his friends with the crew of people that he liked to sit by at the Bucks games. And I would come to the Bucks game time and time again trying to sit by my brother, and he'd be like, oh no, I saved all these seats for other people. Never once was he like, oh shit, I'm saving seats for people. Maybe I should save a seat for my brother. No. You know, after time and time again of me trying to sit up in the front, but my brother's saying, oh shit, no, I've already saved all these seats close by me. I would go to these games and sit by myself time and time again. And it's like, dude, this is intentional. Because you can save like fucking 6 seats for people. You can't save 1 seat for your brother? That's weird. But then that same person who's aware of that, all right, post this fucking Amber Alert. So I'm reading it with this, like, with everything that I know of our relationship and how shit is. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Niggas is trying to shame me over this? Niggas have never come to a show. All right, y'all niggas is missing since. I've been putting out music since I was 15 and performing since I was 17. So it's like, let's go back 16 years. Let's go back 14 years, nigga. Like, so when I read this, I'm like, yo, this is insane, all right? With no shame at all right? This nigga's posting, trying to shame me online for not being at my mom's for the holidays, all right? Pointless-ass holidays. What the fuck is Thanksgiving? What are we celebrating? The fuck are we celebrating? Meanwhile, niggas never show up when niggas got shows. When niggas have important things going on, and I invite all of you to these things, you guys are like, fuck that. I'm not showing up to this shit. But I shouldn't interpret that as not caring. But if I don't show up to fucking Thanksgiving, niggas is trying to shame me online for not showing up when niggas have never shown up. Niggas have never posted a fucking, hey, check out my brother's music. Niggas can post that every day, as I said before, if they so felt like it. you know? So niggas post that, and I'm like, yo, that's fucking crazy. Knowing what I know, knowing what he knows. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're posting this? As I said, I've never been invited to anything other than nonsense, like fucking, like Thanksgiving or some shit. Nigga, most of us are not religious. Why are we celebrating Christmas? We're not religious people. What the fuck are we celebrating? So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that post, and then like even in the post, like niggas is like yucking it up, like ha ha ha. This is so funny. This is harassment. First, it's nonsense because, niggas never shown up. So, and also like that shit right there with the seats where niggas intentionally made their own little brother go sit by himself because he doesn't dance at the games and he needed to be around certain people at the games. He needed to be around his crew that's going to dance and jump around. I didn't dance and jump around, so he would never save a seat for me, but still posted this Amber Alert with no shame. No shame. He posted this Amber Alert in an attempt to shame me. And then my cousin posted, like, oh, I'm going to, like, jokingly or something, saying, like, she's going to make flyers. And it's like, that's crazy. Because for fucking 14 years, I've been fucking doing shows, and there have been flyers for all of that, and it never helped me see any of my family members' faces in the crowd. They all had flyers. There's posters for all that shit. There's on Facebook. Like, fucking never helped me find a single face in the crowd. Crazy. Just blows my mind. Getting fucking harassed. Then my mom fucking continues the nonsense and says, she posts some shit like, do you know me? Or some shit like that. Like, and I'm like, do you know me? Like, as I'm saying, I've been fucking making music since I've been recording music and releasing music since I was 15, performing since I was 17. My mom has never come to a show. I can't remember one time that she shared music outside of when the State Fair commercial, when my song was on TV. Never shared a song, I've never seen one post that's like, hey, check out my son's music. I've never seen one post that's like, hey, check out my son's podcast. Hey, check this shit out. Never seen anything of the sort, all right? I've never seen anything of the sort. Only thing I've ever seen my mom share musically is when she sent to me personally some other random person. This is like maybe a year and a half ago when I was like, yo, this is when I really was like, all these fucking holiday shit it's done. Because this is nonsense. Like, as I'm saying to you, my I've never seen her post any of my music at all. And I'm certain she's never shared any of my music. But she sends to me some random fucking local rapper and sends it to me in a message. And I message her. I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, and she's like, oh, I was sending it to everybody and nobody responded. So she sent it to me just to see, like, just to make sure people were getting this message. Because she was so excited about whoever the fuck this random person was that she needed everybody to see this. She's sending everybody this random person that's not her son, not her relative, like, means fucking nothing to her. And she sends me the shit after never sharing any of my stuff. And none of that, to me, means, like, they don't give a shit about anything I'm doing. But if I don't show up to fucking Thanksgiving, then that fucking really means I don't care at all. I've invited you guys to fucking every event that I've did. That means I fucking care. I don't invite everybody. I invited you guys because I fucking wanted you there. I thought, when we first started doing shows, I thought it was weird because, with the white people that we were performing with, I thought it was weird at first that, like, their grandmas would be there, fucking just random aunts and uncles, just so many random people that I knew weren't into hip-hop. I thought it was goofy that all these people were there, and it's like, fuck, I look back on it like, Dude, I couldn't get one single person in there. Like, their grandmas and grandpas and fucking uncles and shit, like their cousins from all over the place that don't give a shit for hip-hop came out because their fucking cousin was there and they showed up to support him. That's it. It didn't matter if they cared for the fucking music, if this was their favorite fucking song. Like, niggas just showed up. I thought it was goofy at first, and I'm looking back like, wow, I've never experienced that. I've never experienced something like that. Fucking unconditional fucking support. Are you crazy? Are you fucking crazy? All I get is fucking ignored. I've invited all you people to this shit fucking time and time again for years, and yet you call me and ask, like, are you coming to Thanksgiving? As if, like, because these things happen, and to me, all of these events are very important, so it all sticks with me. But for you and most of my family, it means absolutely nothing. So it means nothing to you. You have no shame when you call me and say, are you going to come to this fucking, are you going to come and sit around and eat turkey this year? After you invited me to 30 shows this year and we pretended like nothing happened. You released an album this year and we pretended like nothing happened. I invited you to 30 shows and you just pretended like nothing happened. And then you still call me and say, hey, are you showing up to eat turkey this year? And I would show up and show up and show up. And you never fucking, as I said last time when I was talking about family business, like at these fucking events, if I had a show coming up, I would talk to these people, talk to my mom, like, hey, you can come, like, you don't have to pay, like, we'll put you on the list, yada, yada. Motherfuckers would tell me, yeah, we'll come. And just never show up, never call and say, hey, can't make it. Never mention in fucking afterwards. Never to this day, out of fucking hundreds of shows I've invited all these people to, no one's ever said, hey, sorry, I didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I get fucking shamed on Facebook if I don't fucking come eat turkey. What the fuck is this? If I don't eat fucking turkey, if I don't want to fucking come eat turkey, if I'm not fucking religious, if I don't feel like Christmas means as much as you fucking showing up to my fucking show, so it seems like, hey, maybe we should book this guy. He brings out a crowd. Maybe that's a little more important to me. It holds a little more weight, and it fucking sticks with me today, every fucking show, because I've invited all of you to everything, and you've all said no. Well, you never said no. You all just ignored it. But you still fucking call and try to shame me online with no shame at all for how you guys fucking carry yourselves. It's fucking insane. It's fucking ugly that the only time it seemed somewhat interesting to any of you is when I fucking had the State Fair song. That's the only time it seemed like anybody was interested at all in this family, is when there was a fucking commercial on TV. And that's fucking disgusting. All right? It's fucking gross. You guys fucking try to shame me, dude. It's fucking gross, man. Ugh. And they'll never hear this. I tried to call her today, dude. She fucking didn't answer. I called her a few times. But I didn't fucking shame her online for not answering the phone. I saw this post my buddy Leo posted. It was like, people need to normalize understanding that someone's off time isn't their availability or some shit like that, or someone's free time isn't their availability. And it's like, dude, if you called me at this time and I missed your fucking call or whatever the fucking thing is, you just fucking freaked out and just started shaming me like I needed to answer the phone at that fucking moment, or I just don't fucking care. Like, what kind of nonsense is this? What if I just wasn't fucking available? And then fucking harassing me, trying to shame me online is why would that make me want to fucking call? Why would that make me want to show up to the fucking next event? You guys are fucking professionals at pushing niggas away, but y'all niggas is fucking crazy, man. Keep this nonsense up like it don't happen. Niggas post that shit as if years of inviting niggas never happened. of niggas just ignoring it never happened. Y'all post that shit. Y'all think it's so funny. Dude, it blows my mind. Blows my mind how much y'all blatantly don't give a shit, but still try to shame a nigga for not showing up to eat fucking turkey, nigga. So as I briefly mentioned last week, Congress passed a new bill, but Big Papa Trump, Big Papa Trump, I like that. That goes with the white trash element of wrestling and Scott Steiner and Scott Trump and Big Papa Trump. So that nigga was like, yo, this bill's a disgrace. I'm not signing that bill unless you give these niggas $2,000. Whole time, Democrats been trying to increase the amount from $600 to like at least $2,000, and the Republicans were like, no. But then Trump said, I'm not signing that bill unless they increase it. And right away, I shared something like, hell yeah, talk your shit, Donald. But right away, like after I shared it, I'm like, dude, he's just saying that because they're not going to increase it. So he knows, because they were saying like they were going to send out the stimulus, like the $600 or whatever, this week. They were supposed to send them, we were supposed to receive them this week, but he said that. And I was like, because he said that, that just means he canceled the stimulus. And that's all that happened. He just fucking canceled the stimulus. And he said it in a way that seemed cool. But like, what is this article that just popped? So many people are hurting. Lawmakers press Trump on stimulus bill as jobless aid expires, shutdown looms. Yeah, they about to shut down the government, man. The government is about to shut down. So I knew he was playing this game when I saw it. I was like, he doesn't really want niggas to increase. He just wants a shutdown. He wants anarchy. This nigga's pardoning fucking people who are wanted for like massacres in Iraq. Like, he's getting his shit off before he leaves office. He's not playing. He's not a person of the people. He's fucking around. Hopefully they arrest this nigga the second he's out of office, because he's wilding. But, you know what I'm saying? He's fucking wilding. Man, in some real sad news, there was a bombing in Nashville on Christmas morning. From an article I read, the woman was describing, she said around like 4:30 in the morning, she woke up hearing a bunch of gunshots. And then, one second. Yeah, so what I heard, this woman woke up at about 4:30 in the morning, and she heard gunshots, multiple gunshots, and that woke her up. And then at that point, there was a message coming from an RV that was parked on the side of the road saying that there was a bomb in the RV and that people needed to leave the area, or, people needed to evacuate the area. Just some message saying this, so people did what they could to evacuate the area, the people that could. Sure enough, a bomb exploded. From what I read, there was one body. There was human remains found, but I don't think they can identify the person. I did see that they performed a raid on a person of interest, so that's maybe good. I think, hopefully, it's the right person. It was just fucking wild. Christmas morning, I didn't see anybody really posting about it, but I did see a lot of people posting about that fucking Twisted Tea shit. And I'm like, I was saying to my wife, because I was like, Christmas Day, I'm like following this story, and I'm saying to my wife, I'm like, why is no one talking about this? Like, I was like, I know that it's Christmas Day, maybe people don't necessarily want to like focus on something so negative on like today, but I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy, man. A fucking bomb just went off in Nashville, and nobody's talking about this. But, I mean, I haven't seen too much coverage on it, honestly, other than what I saw, the people describing, just there was a message playing. There was a countdown for 15 minutes saying there's a bomb here and it'll explode in 15 minutes, and just kept saying evacuate the area, and then it exploded. There was police officers there trying to evacuate people. When the bomb went off, 3 people went to the hospital. Yeah, and just yesterday they said that they found human remains, but they couldn't really identify a person at that point. It's just insane to me, man. Just good vibes to the family, everybody who was negatively affected there, man. That shit's crazy, man. I hope they figure this shit out. I wonder what it was, you know. Was it like a domestic terrorism? Was it fucking like some kind of attack from some foreign entity? Like, what was it? Like, that's what's so crazy to me. I think I saw some article talking about, I didn't read it. I saw the headline. It said, like, some woman was given 2 homes for free by the suspects or some shit like that. I was like, that still doesn't really make any sense to me about what's happening here. So, like, hopefully we get more information as it goes on, but it's pretty scary, man. And I feel like more people should be paying attention to the story, man. It's fucking wild. It's fucking wild. But as I was saying to you guys, I was looking through my notes to see if I talked about my experience with DMT. I assumed I did. Maybe I haven't. I just didn't put it in my notes. But so I saw the movie. Me, my wife, and I we watched the movie Soul, and it's a phenomenal movie, by the way. But as I saw the movie, I'm just like, dude, there's no way you can make this movie without having done fucking DMT. Like, if I can describe DMT, I've described it to my wife before, and I was like, you just, like, go, and it's like, you're in a place, like a new realm, and it's like, I was like, it's just bright colors, like purple, pinkish, bright colors, like pretty much everything, like the visuals you were seeing in this movie. I was like, purple, pinkish, bright colors, and I was like, I said to her, I was like, I wasn't like a person, I was more so like energy, and there was other like balls of energy around that I knew were like kind of people, you know? It's just like we were energy, and I said to her, like, a woman walks up to me and like looks me in the eyes, but it wasn't like a woman. Like, I said it was like a body of energy, but it was like kind of curvy and shaped like a woman. And like the creatures, the Jerrys in this movie weren't like curvy. The women, the Jerrys, weren't curvy, but they like, you know, you could tell that which was a woman figure and which was a man figure, kind of similar to my fucking DMT trip. And I'm watching this movie and I'm like, fuck, we get through the whole thing and I'm like, this is 1000% actually what a DMT trip is. Like, everything you saw, the visuals in that movie, and then even, like, I remember after I did DMT, my feeling was like, I've been wasting too much time focusing on nonsense. And I need to get focused and do some real shit. Like, it was like a very surreal experience. And that's how I feel like that's a lot of the, you know, that was the message of the whole movie. It was just to like live life. There is no like stop trying to seek out a higher purpose, like, and live for today, you know, was the base of the whole movie. And that was pretty much how you feel after fucking DMT. Do that. You do DMT you can either do DMT and it'll last 10 minutes, or you can watch the movie Soul and you will have the same experience, my nigga. It's insane. It's a great fucking movie. I'll probably watch it again soon. But yeah, Soul's great, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but if you've done DMT, you've basically already seen the movie. The NBA is back. Real hype on that. The Bucks lost game 1. I mean, Giannis is just terrible from free throw, and that continued through game 2. Game 3 is today. Game 2 we won against the Warriors, so we're 1-1 currently. But the Warriors aren't looking too good right now, and they just lost Marquise Chris, the new backup center. But that James Wiseman guy looks like a fucking problem. I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year. That guy, he can hit threes. He's just catching balls in the air. Like, he's a fucking beast out there, man. Rookie, probably like 2021. He's a fucking beast. Give him 2-3 years. You guys got Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, James Wiseman over there. Dude, they're about to be. They got fucking Andrew Wiggins over there. All right, that team is fucking stacked if they can be healthy. So it just is what it is. But I mean, in game 1 with Giannis, though, it came down to Tristan Thompson or Jason Tatum hit a 3 over Giannis. Giannis was all over him. There's no way he should have hit that shot. But Tatum sinks a 3. And we're down fucking 2. Tristan Thompson fouls Giannis before the ball goes into play, so that puts Giannis on the free throw line. Right away, I said to my wife, we're going to lose this game. And she's like, no, don't say that. And I'm like, dude, he's not clutch. He doesn't have that gene in him. And she's like, don't say that. He hits the first free throw. And I was like, she's like, see? And I was like, he's not going to hit the second. And sure enough, he like almost airballs the second one. It bounces off the front of the rim. Practically airballs the fucking shot, and fucking we lose the game. Second game, he is fucking put on that line. At one point, I stopped counting. I think he was like 4 for 10. He hit 4 out of 10. I was like, yo, this is getting out of hand. Like, is that really just going to be the thing? Just keep putting Giannis on the line because he just fucking can't hit free throws? Like, that can't be our Achilles heel, but fucking Chris Middleton, man. Chris Middleton been doing his thing. Drew Holiday looks fucking great. I think Drew Holiday is a massive improvement from Eric Bledsoe. Like, massive. His shot selection, he makes the right passes. His defense is fucking great. He's a massive improvement from Eric fucking Bledsoe. Bledsoe is trash, in my opinion. Like, he made terrible decisions. Like, and his fucking defense was so at best, bro. Like, Drew Holiday is a massive improvement from what we had in Eric Bledsoe, dude. So I really hope we can keep Holiday here long term with Giannis, and Giannis can fucking learn to hit his free throws. You know, I contemplated. I was like, fuck, maybe I should take a break from the podcast simply because there's no MMA, there's no UFC right now for like a month. I'm like, I guess I can. There's still news, nigga. There's still news. And it's like, yo, last week, as I said, Anthony Pettis was on his last fight of the contract, and he now signed with the PFL. So he's going to be fighting at lightweight at PFL, fighting for the lightweight championship, where they do the tournaments there, where if you win the tournament, you win $1 million. So I guess why not? You know, if you can do that. I mean, he's like a UFC veteran. And I think people definitely look at the PFL as a few steps down from UFC. But if you can still go over there and sign and fight for more money than you probably won in the UFC, why not? So good luck to fucking Anthony Pettis and his career over there. I think maybe he goes out there, fights out his contract, looks fucking more impressive fighting lesser competition, and then gets one last big contract to come back to the UFC. I think that might be his goal. I always thought Sergio was most likely going to try to head back to the UFC after racking up some wins against lesser competition at Bellator. But, I mean, you got to get those wins. Anything can happen. So, you know, I hope things go well for both Pettis brothers. And speaking of local dudes cheering on the local guy, I like to support the local guy. This nigga Ben Askren apparently accepted an offer to box Jake Paul March 28th, nigga. Jake Paul will knock this nigga out. I think it's just a money grab because Ben Askren, this nigga just had hip surgery. He's got a fake hip. He's notorious for being terrible in his stand-up. His striking is notoriously terrible. There's a video of him just like spinning around, just looking he looked exhausted, spinning around, doing these terrible punches. And then I looked at the time, and it was like 4 minutes and 34 seconds. It was like, yo, the fight just started. And he's swinging around in circles as if he's out there exhausted. That's how bad his stand-up is. And he's about to go in there and get fucking knocked out by Jake Paul. Yes, people would buy it. And I think he understands that It's more important for him to go out there and get that paycheck, even if he loses, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like, he went out there and got knocked out by Jorge Masvidal. Every time he tweets on Twitter, somebody posts that video. So, like, of him post a picture maybe of him knocked out, unconscious on the fucking canvas. So, I think he's just going out there for the money. I think he knows he's gonna get fucking knocked out. But I would love for him to magically somehow get a W, though I don't see it as likely. The headlines that have been announced coming up here is we got Max Holloway versus Calvin Keator, January 16th, and I believe that's going to be on ABC. It's a fight night card that would usually be on ESPN. Disney owns it all, and January 16th, you're going to get some MMA on ABC, so I'm pretty hype about that. Get it into more people's homes, get it in their homes. The more people need to see this shit. Let's get MMA out there. So that fight, I don't know. I'm gonna talk more about these fights as we go on. Just touch on a little bit. I think that's pretty exciting to have that on ABC. Wednesday, they're doing Fight Week, International Fight Week, which I don't know why they call International Fight Week when they only ever have the one card on Saturday, and now this time they're doing 3 cards. But so Wednesday, January 20th, you have the rebooking of Leon Edwards versus Komzat Shimayath, and I'm so hyped for that. Ready to see my boy Boers get a W. Hopefully that's the case. I think his wrestling is just going to be too much for Leon Edwards, but at the same time, I was listening to John McCarthy, and I agreed that if he can somehow, because he's pretty fast, if he can stay on the outside and just touch Komzat and not try to rush it in and make something happen, if he can just stay on the outside and touch Komzat, he might be able to overwhelm Komzat and really just put it on him from the outside. I don't think getting in the clinch and just getting too close to Komzat, I think that would be a huge mistake for Leon Edwards come January 20th. If these fights stay, COVID, this fight was supposed to happen already. It was supposed to happen December 19th, but COVID happened and things got pushed back. So we'll see what happens. Well, hopefully these fights happen. And then we got Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, January 23rd, headline card. You also got Michael Chandler facing Dan Hooker. Michael Chandler making his UFC debut that night against Dan Hooker in the co-main event. I think that fight spells disaster for Michael Chandler, but then again, we'll see. Hopefully that's gonna be a great card. And they just announced Israel Adesanya taking on Jan Blachowicz, scheduled for March 6th. They were talking about it. They didn't book it yet. And I was kind of hoping that they just wouldn't, but they sure enough did. Before I get out of here, I actually finished this episode hours ago, probably 8 hours ago. I finished this episode, and I was sitting in bed with my wife, and I saw this post from Brandon Moreno talking about the fight of the year, and I was like, holy fuck, this is the last episode of the year. The least I could do is talk about some of my favorite fights from the year, and just the end of the year shit. You know what I'm saying? So let me just throw this on here. You know what I'm saying? So here's some 2020 UFC takeaways. Macy Barber was never going to stand a chance against Valentina Shevchenko. She had, it was a huge hype train around Macy Barber after she came from the Contender Series. I was a fan up until when she fought Jillian Robertson. I was like, dude, Jillian's just kind of covering up, and Macy's just moving forward. No head movement, no nothing. And I was like, if she fought somebody with some decent boxing, it would not do too well. And sure enough, she met Modafferi and just pretty much got dominated everywhere. With the grappling, she got dominated with the stand-up because she just has no head movement. And we haven't seen her in about a year. Hopefully she can bounce back. Hopefully she looks much improved out here in Rufus Sport. But, you know, I'm hoping for good things, but I don't think, like she was talking about fighting Valentina, like if she stayed healthy, let's say she beat Roxanne Modafferi, she would have already probably been booked to fight. She probably would have had one more fight before she was booked to fight Valentina Shevchenko. And we know how that fight would have went. I thought it was kind of silly that she moved down to that weight class. I guess I thought moved down. But I think she fights at 125 and used to fight at 135. If she can fight at 115, I think that would be her best course of action, is to try to fight Zhang Weili. I feel like that would be a great fight. But who am I? I thought Brianna Van Buren was about to be a fucking problem in this fucking division, and she came in here and got fucking mollywopped the last time we saw her. So, you know, who knows? But I'm hoping that we see a much improved Macy Barber in 2021. Michael Chiesa, I always say it wrong, and then when he fights, I hear it, and I'm like, okay, that's how you say his last name, and I'll remember it, and then I forget it the next day. So Michael Chiesa, he's a fucking problem at 170. He's fucking tall as shit, got the length. His grappling is fucking amazing. Let's not forget that he completely dominated Rafael Dos Anjos, controlled him all over the place. Like, Dos Anjos didn't stand a chance in that fight because the grappling was just so much. And Dos Anjos just had a great fight against Paul Felder. So, you know, like, that speaks to who Michael Chiesa is, you know what I'm saying? He just dominated Rafael Dos Anjos. And Rafael Dos Anjos just beat Paul Felder, and it's almost like that fight against Michael Chiesa never even happened. As far as Rafael Dos Anjos is concerned, he still looks like that fucking beast, the former champion that we know him to be. And that's why I'm telling you, Michael Chiesa is a problem, and he should not be overlooked. Like, it'd be crazy for people at 170 to overlook Chiesa. He's easily a player in the top 10, top 5. He's a player, bruh. So that's one of my takeaways, is Michael Chiesa is a fucking player at 170. He's got the grappling skills to get the kill. That's what I think about Michael Chiesa. Another takeaway from 2020, Diego Sanchez has completely fallen from grace. This nigga looked terrible in his last fight. Like, and I'm not just saying, like, oh, man, that guy looks terrible. Like, I'm not a fighter, but what I'm saying is he was in terrible shape. He was out of shape. He's in terrible shape. That's not ideal shape for somebody if you want to fight at 170 pounds at the highest level in the UFC. This nigga was completely out of shape. It looked like he hadn't lifted weights in a long time. And you look at the training videos, the silly training videos, and how he goes into these fights and he does this insane, like, force field defense, as if, like, people are just going to respect his imagination in the octagon and not penetrate his imaginary force field that he puts out in front of him. That's how he goes out there and fights. And they keep booking this man. He stands there with his arms out and says that he's putting up a force field. And then, like, people just walk up and punch the shit out of him. And he has this, like, shocked look on his face. Like, he literally couldn't believe that they broke through his fucking imaginary force field. Like, why do they keep booking this man? It's scary at this point. It's honestly scary. They cannot keep booking Diego Sanchez to get his ass beat by top-tier talent. I don't think he should be fighting for any organization with the current training that he's doing. He needs to be with a real gym. He looks terrible ever since he left Jackson Wink to work with set up his own camp with this fucking weird dude, Favia, I believe is his name. And yeah, man, it ruined his career. Ruined Diego Sanchez's career. And I really hope they don't book him anymore, man. That's what I really hope. No more Diego Sanchez fighting at all, you know. Maybe you can do commentary. Like, it doesn't have to be just fighting, you know what I'm saying? Like, make a living within the sport. Maybe teach jiu-jitsu or some shit, man. I don't know. Do something, man. Corner some motherfuckers. Like, but I don't think this man should, I don't think he should be fighting at the highest level against young, up-and-coming dudes that are coming to take this man's head off. They're not in here to play with this man. They're not in here to respect your force field. They're in here to take this man's head off. So I hope he gets cut. They haven't announced too many more cuts recently, but I hope by the end of the year, it's the 27th right now, hope by the end of the year he is cut. And nobody signs this man because he's out of his mind. Tony Ferguson, hype train has just about run its course. Y'all know, if y'all been following me, I'm not a Tony Ferguson fan at all. Well, not at all. I'm a fight fan, so it's not like I'm not a Tony Ferguson fan, but I wasn't a fan of all the hype. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, if you don't watch a fight, but you look at the end result, if it says, oh, this person won by submission in the second round, but you didn't see the fight, then it's like your opinion is just like, yo, that person was submitted in the second round. But if I saw the fight and I see that person who won the fight was completely dominated in the first round and, like, by some freak accident in the second round, just freak positioning, got rolled into, like, an arm bar and got the submission, like, super freak lucky, like. But for you, you didn't see the fight, so all you know is this person got submitted in the second round. Me, I'm like, yo, this person shouldn't have won, and they shouldn't be here. Because it's not about, like, I'm not saying, like, they shouldn't be in the UFC. Like, when I was talking about, like, Chito Vera, when I was like, yo, I was talking to my boy, Landon, he called me. He was like, dude, Chito Vera is going to beat Jose Aldo. I was like, first off, Chito he should not have beaten Sugar Sean O'Malley. He got lucky that Sean injured his leg in that fight and he couldn't put weight on one of his legs. So, like, because of that, he was able to capitalize and get the win. Otherwise, I was like, as regards to the fight with Jose Aldo, he shouldn't even be here. All right? And that's how I feel with Tony Ferguson. People are so hype about that streak. And it's like, bro, if you really go back and look at a lot of those fights, that nigga shouldn't even be here. You niggas was like, oh, he's so good off his back. He's so good off his back. What is Khabib going to do when Tony is able to throw elbows and all kinds? I've seen him on his back, fight after fight, get dominated, get controlled. Not fucking really doing amazing things off of his back. Yeah, he sometimes gets submits. Like, I think he submitted Kevin Lee, and he was on his back when the submission happened. But it was like the positioning, which took them to the ground, and Tony ended up. You gotta watch the actual fights, because if you watch the first round of that fight, Kevin Lee is in full mount. Tony is trying to turn out of there, but he can't. He's fully controlled and getting elbows rained down upon him. I just think you guys overhyped the fuck out of Tony Ferguson. I'm not here for it, and I think the hype train has run its course. He might get one more fight in here to get his ass beat again before he is cut. They're talking about possibly, they were surmising that he was probably going to fight Paul Felder since they're both coming off losses. I think that would be a great fight, and I think Paul Felder wins that fight. That's just how I feel. There's some of my takes, some of my favorite fights from the year. I don't want to say, I would say, I think the best fight of the year, Weili Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. All right, that's the fight of the year. All right, there's no debating. But some other fights that I took note of that were pretty fucking cracker. That are pretty fucking cracker, mate. You got Dan Hooker versus Paul Felder earlier this year. That was a great fucking 5-round fight. Great fight. I thought Felder won that fight, but whatever. Whitaker versus Till. Phenomenal 5-round fight. I can't remember how I scored it, but I remember that was a great fight, and I want to go back and watch that one. Stipe versus DC3. Got to put the trilogy on there. Man, I was so hyped for that fight. Super disappointed I couldn't be there, But 'tis the pandemic. 'Tis the season for a pandemic. Adesanya versus Costa. Loved watching that fight. Beautiful fight. Adesanya looked amazing. Flawless victory in there. Blachowicz knocking out what's his name? Dom Reyes. And to me, it was just like, dude, this solidifies for me, because as I said, if you follow this podcast, I felt like John Jones absolutely dominated Reyes for 4 out of the 5 rounds. I felt like Reyes won like one. I think probably the first one when he knocked John down or whenever it was, like I gave him 1 round, but John was dominating him. John looked amazing in the stand-up. He was just slipping all these punches. Like it was like Reyes looked lost. Reyes is throwing these strikes, he's throwing these punches at John, and John is just slipping everything. And like Reyes looked lost. But everybody's like, oh man, he's all over John. And it's like, dude, he's missing everything. John is slipping everything. Just standing up with his back against the fence. Similar. That's why I kept saying he looked like a giant Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd would just back up into the corner, literally let them back him into the corner, and they're fucking swinging at Floyd, and he's just slipping everything, dodging everything. They can't hit him. And that's what fucking John Jones did. He put his back against the fence and fucking just slipped every single punch that Reyes threw at him. And I think the Blachowicz knockout really solidifies to me that fucking Reyes stood no chance against John Jones. But if you're watching on TV and fucking Joe Rogan screaming, oh my God, he's all over him, you know what I'm saying? It sounds like he's all over him, but that's definitely not the case. That's definitely not the case when you watch the fight. Another fight that I was real hyped for, Whitaker Cannonier, looking back at that. Didn't take me too long to scroll through the whole, like every fight card of the year. Randomly, it was pretty quick to like scroll, and I was like remembering. I've watched every fight of this year. I was remembering every single fight. I don't know if my ears popped or something just turned on here. All of a sudden, it's like it got louder. I'm like, what just happened here? All of a sudden, it just got random loud. Yeah. So Whitaker Cannonier. Great fight. I'd love to go back and watch that fight again. Khabib Gaethje, great fight. Khabib looked like a fucking Terminator in there, fucking just walking through shit. I mean, I know his leg was hurt. It had to have been. But he was still just like, as Gaethje was landing the leg kick, diving in and grabbing Gaethje and taking Gaethje down. Like, it was masterful. Khabib's the fucking GOAT. Whatever that means. Then you have Felder versus Dos Anjos. Great 5-round fight. I think I gave it to Felder. Everybody else is like, what's wrong with this one judge? He gave it to Felder. This is crazy. We gotta do something about this. It's like, no, man. No, you don't. Like, why does everybody have to agree? If everybody needed to, like, judge it the same way, if that was the expectation, then you should only have one judge. You know what I'm saying? If the expectation was that every single judge scores it the exact same way, then just have one judge. All right? Because you only want one opinion here. And if the guy scores it differently, if he's watching and he sees something differently from his angles than what you've seen, then don't fucking try to shit on this man. Instead, he doesn't know how to do this job that he's trained to do, to judge these competitions simply because he scored it differently. Isn't he supposed to score it his own way? Isn't he supposed to score it the way he sees it and not poll the other judges to see how we're going to do this one tonight? No, that's not the one. That's not the way. That's not the way. Some fighters of the year, the fighters that stood out to me this year, Kevin Holland. Number one, I want to throw out Kevin Holland had a real good 2020. Kevin Holland's having the best year ever. Israel Adesanya is having the best year ever. Great fight against, he called out Yoel Romero, beat Yoel. Went out there, dominated Paulo Costa. Fantastic fight. Shout out to Israel Adesanya. He's having the best year ever. Charles do Bronx Oliveira is having the best year ever. Shout out to do Bronx. I called it, and I want my cookie. I said that he was going to dominate Tony Ferguson, and he went out there and dominated Tony Ferguson. He went out there and fucking just put on a show against Kevin Lee earlier this year. He's just been fucking great, man. You guys you've been blind to do Bronx, and he had a great year. He's going to have a great 2021, I feel like. I feel like he could easily be the champ at 155. You got Gilbert Burns had a great year. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for COVID, we could be looking at the new UFC welterweight champion. But because of COVID, the fights had to be rebooked. We ended up with Usman Masvidal because of the original fight with Burns. Burns tested positive for COVID a week before the fight was supposed to happen. So that didn't happen, but we could. Burns is great with his jiu-jitsu world champion, multiple-time jiu-jitsu world champion. His striking, he's so powerful. He's got one-punch knockout power. He trained with Usman. He's a former training partner of Usman. Usman just switched camps to train with Trevor Whitman out in Denver, which is one of the best coaches, if not the smartest coach in the game. You got him and Eugene Behrman, but yeah, he's out there now. So Gilbert Burns could be the champion right now had that fight happened, and we're going to have it soon here. And he had a great 2020, and he could very well have a phenomenal 2021. Or okay 2021. Brandon Moreno had a fantastic 2020. Brandon Moreno is having the best year ever. Amanda Ribas, the very bubbly Amanda Ribas, is having the best year ever. She's on the come up. She's a star in the making if she can keep winning. I don't know. She's got a tough matchup coming up. I'm not sure who she's scheduled to fight, but I remember I saw it and I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. You might lose. And it's I don't know if I necessarily want her to get easy fights, you know what I'm saying? It's just build her up. You got a star right here. She's a star in the making. You put her on the screen and it's yeah, she's clearly a star. She's fighting this girl, Marina Rodriguez, a fellow Brazilian, which I don't like that. Them Brazilians be tough. That's why I was I don't know about her fighting this this Brazilian in here. She was supposed to fight who was Amanda Ribas was supposed to fight Michelle Watterson. Watterson got scared, pulled out of that fight. So now she might fight this Marina Rodriguez, who's 12-1-2. And I think that could be it's probably going to be her toughest fight to date, but, hopefully she passes this test, Hopefully she passes this test and we have a star in our hands. And Amanda Ribas, other fighters, I'm thinking are going to have a big 2021. Well, not other. I've mentioned some of these people. But so you got big 2021s I see are Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland's going to have a big 2021. At the same time, I think Marvin Vettori's going to have a big 2021. Heads are going to clash. Another head that's going to clash in there, you got Komzat Shimayath, who my pick against Leon Edwards. I think Komzat Shimayath is going to have a great 2021. I also believe that Mr. Conor McGregor will step back into this octagon and have a great 2021. I think he will fight more than once. I think he will beat Dustin Poirier. I think that fight should be for the belt. If not, I think he will fight Charles Oliveira for the belt. And, that fight will go how it goes. That'll be an insane fight. But I think Conor McGregor is going to have a great 2021 regardless. He's Conor fucking McGregor. He is the fucking sport. You got Ryan Spann. I think Ryan Spann will have a great 2021. You got Grant Dawson is going to have a great 2021. Drew Dober, great 2021. I'm pulling for Angela Overkill Hill to have a great 2021. I got Mackenzie Dern in here with a star, with an asterisk, you know what I'm saying? Because her striking looked much improved in the last fight, but she's fighting Nina Ansaroff, who is the wife of Amanda Nunes. I don't know. I think this is going to be a pretty tough fight for her, and I don't think she's going to win. And it could be discouraging, but if she can prove me wrong and come in there and beat Nina Ansaroff convincingly, then she definitely is going to have a great 2021. If she can go out there and put out a great fight against Nina Ansaroff. But if I'm not mistaken, Ansaroff fights at 135. So, I mean, if Mackenzie Dern wants to step in the octagon with Amanda Nunes, I wouldn't advise it. But I don't know. I mean, your jiu-jitsu is good and all, but my nigga, that's Amanda Nunes. She will knock your ass out with one fucking, I don't even know, with one dumbass comment. Like, I hate when she speaks. But Aljamain Sterling will have the best year ever in 2021. He should have fought this past pay-per-view against Petr Yan. Should have fought Petr Yan for the belt. Petr Yan could not get into the country. He had troubles with his visa. So they will hopefully rebook this fight soon between Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling. And Aljamain Sterling will put the funk on Petr Yan and take that belt for all the real niggas in America. I think Alex Caceres will have a great 2021. You got Paul Bear Jew Craig will have a great 2021. My boy Michel Pereira, focused Michel Pereira, will have a fantastic 2021, and heads will collide as Colby Covington will also have a great year. So if Michel Pereira, who's apparently 27, I don't believe it, somehow, I think it's not 27, somehow as he keeps his focus moving up in the rankings, he will eventually be able to get into the octagon with the likes of a Colby Covington, and that would be a fucking phenomenal fight. I'd be really excited for that. I think Jermaine Durandamy is going to have a great 2021. If you guys remember the fight she had this year, she really impressed with her grappling. One thing that's always been a hole for her jiu-jitsu, her grappling has always been terrible. And she went in there and got a submission victory. And, you know, I did the TikTok. I guess she forgot about Jermaine. I think that's my first TikTok. I forgot about Jermaine with my song and whatnot. So Jermaine's going to have a great year. Her jiu-jitsu's better. Her striking is probably the best out of all women in the UFC. Her striking's probably the best. So she's going to have a great 2021. I think she could beat Amanda Nunes. If anybody can beat Amanda Nunes, it's Jermaine Durandamy. Jimmy Crute, I believe, will have a great year. And Miguel Baeza, Miguel Baeza, who I believe trains with Colby Covington. They're both lightweights, but I think they're probably at the point where it's just like they're so far in the rankings, they're feeling like it won't be an issue for too soon. But Colby just came to the gym. Maybe he'll move around again. Who knows? But, all right, I gave you guys my list here. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, give you guys social medias. If you want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod, where I do most of my live tweeting. If you want to follow my personal accounts, it's at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow this podcast at babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere podcasts stream. And if you guys got Xbox, go ahead and add me. My gamer tag is SauceBoss414. You can add me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Babylon5. Go ahead and check out the merchandise. Cop yourself a t-shirt or two. Go to teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. Go ahead and support the podcast. You can get this episode early. Go to patreon.com/Babylon5pod. And if you're on TikTok, go ahead and add me at Babylon5Podcast. Yes, and this is Jermaine Events. This is episode 71. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for being here with me. Take care of yourselves and each other. This is beautiful. This was originally like a 40-minute episode. And then I was like, oh shit, I forgot to talk about this. And here we go. It's over an hour. So, happy. I'm happy. I'm personally happy about that. But thank you guys so much for being here with me. And I'll be back next week to talk to you. All right. Peace.